correction of the previous year examination. In this class today, you will learn how to identify the sentence correction, how to arrive at the right answer, what kind of traps are set for you in the exam, and how to avoid those traps. So let us look at the first question. Here, before we find the answer for this question, remember the 9 kind of errors you are asked to identify, or any of one of those 9 errors which you are asked to identify in the exam. So what are those errors? Vocabulary usage, pronoun usage, then tenses, how the tenses are used. Usually, regarding tenses, the most popular error is of the past perfect tenses. So I advise you all to be good at how to use past perfect tense. Apart from that, we have article error. Now it could be that everything else in the sentence is correct, but only error is in the usage of a and or the. Yes, it can happen. So be very careful about the usage of articles in the exam. Next is idiom error. Now, for all of those who do not know what an idiom is, so idiom is anything that is different from the literal meaning of the word. For example, break up. So any word with the preposition is usually called a phrasal verb, which means something else from the literal meaning. Okay? So today we will see what kind of errors are there regarding those idiom errors. So these are the 5. Next one is subject verb agreement error. These kind of errors check your understanding upon the usage of singulars and plurals. For example, with the subject they, you will use the word were, not was. So that is what it means by subject verb agreement error. However, the errors regarding these are more complex. So you need to identify first of all what the main subject is, and then see if the verb is following that main subject. Okay? Next error is called the parallel structure error. In this parallel structure error, you are asked to see if all the items in the sentence given are aligned with each other. For example, if it is, she plays basketball and loves music, you cannot combine 2 items like this. Because here in my question, one item is an action and another is an emotion. She loves music, which is an emotion. She plays basketball or football is an action. So you cannot combine action with the emotion. It has to be action and action, or it has to be emotion with emotion. So in this way you have lots of rules in the parallel structure which you should be thorough with if you are attempting the sentence correction. Now last but not the least, we have modifiers. Basically, we are looking at 2 modifiers when we are talking about this. Those are adjectives and adverbs. So you should be good with how we use adverbs in a sentence and how do we use adjectives in a sentence. So now, we need to look for these 9 errors if any of these errors exist in the underlined part of the sentence. Remember that errors are one of these. So at least your task is easy now because you know what kind of error you should be looking for. Okay? So our task in this question is to first of all look in the underlined part if there is any error. Second step would be to look for which option corrects that error. But more often than not, you see 2 options which correct the error. So in this case, you need to see which option introduces another error. That option will be clearly eliminated. Or which option is more wordy. That means, remember in CAT, they want you to choose an option that is more precise. Okay? So any option that is precise will be my answer. So let us have a look at this question. So now look for if there is any subject verb agreement error. It says rose up to say that in her opinion she thought the women's reservation bill should be passed on unanimously. So now it is clear that all the tenses in past and all the verbs are given in past tense. So obviously there is no error regarding the tenses. Articles, I do not see any article in that. Yes, the. So the is used appropriately because it talks about a specific bill. So you can use the. So that means the is correct. Look for other error. Panel structure. Okay, there are only two items. She thought and the first part. So obviously it talks about independent complete sentences. That means panel structure wise also there is no error. So we have eliminated four kind of errors. So let us look at the vocabulary usage. So now tell me if the vocabulary is used fine. You see the word rose up and passed on. As I said, when you see a verb with a preposition, that means it is an idiom. So here you see the usage of idiom, not particularly the vocabulary. So let us look at and see if the vocabulary in form of idiom, if the idiom is used correctly here. So see if we can say rose up and if we can say passed on unanimously. So when I say rise obviously happens always in the upward direction. So if it is happening up, I need not to add an extra word up here to indicate that something is going above. Okay, so this is irrelevant. So I should only say rose. Now here when I say should be passed on, this is called precisely an idiom error. Passed on means I give something to you. But here, passed on means a bill was actually passed. So when the bill is passed, is approved by somebody, you do not use the idiom passed on. Passed on means giving it to somebody from generation to generation or passing on something as you play the game pass on the pass. Okay? So here, this idiom is used incorrectly. So in both the cases, there should not be the preposition. So now check for the option which corrects this error. So now the B option uses passed on again. We'll eliminate the option B. Now look for the option A, B. D again introduces the same error. So we'll eliminate this. Now we have A and C with us. So let us check which out of these two is more precise, because everything else, yes, there is in her opinion. And is there a difference other than that? Yes, there is no other difference other than these two. So now tell me, do I need in her opinion word when I am already indicating she thought? Obviously, it is redundant. And as I said, in CAT, sentence correction, we look for the option which is more precise. So now we have got A as an answer. Okay guys, so now in this question you are on your own. Try to identify what the error is in the underlined part. So you have already been told about 9 errors. Look for which error is here in this statement, or if at all there is no error. Okay, so let us do this question. Remember, options are sometimes a big hit. So now you see the word in addition here, yeah, it started from the D option. So in addition is nothing but and is already there. So obviously I do not need in addition. That again calls for redundancy. So this option is clearly eliminated. Now let us look at the option A, B and C. Now it says Mr. Pillai, the president of the union, and since he is a member of community group, will be in charge of the negotiations. Now here, tell me if we need the word since, or do we at all need another word like since and also? See, the Mr. Pillai has been separated by comma here. So that is the person's introduction. Now from here is the questions starting. So it starts with what? An article. So now see, we have two items in this list. One says the president of the union and the other part says who is also a member of the committee group. These two are the items in my list. Now as I told you in the panel structure, all the items in the list have to be the same in the structure. So if one part starts with a noun, another has to start with the noun. In this case, it starts with an article. So that makes it obvious that the other part of the list should also start with an article. But what does it start with? Relative pronoun. That means this is an arrow. So now let us look for which option connects this arrow. Yes, obviously C is the answer because again it starts with the article. Okay? So 8 we have got C as the answer. Now look at the third question. Now first of all I need to see if any word used is right or it needs to be replaced. So now, here, remember that whenever you are talking about the usage of words in the context, remember that in sentence correction your best hint is taken from the other words which are accompanied in the sentence. So now look at the word revival. Revival here says that something was already existing. So for this case, we cannot accept the word discovered because it says something is very new. It has been talked about for the very first time. But revival indicates otherwise. So A is out of the option. B changes the meaning when it says incompletely. Inexplicable does not mean incompletely. In sentence correction, you need to take care of the sentence in a way that it doesn't change the meaning when you make the very much required modifications in the sentence. So B, because it changes the meaning, won't be the answer. D says unidentifiable again, which cannot be the case here because we are talking again about revival of the learning. So obviously it has already been identified. So in this case, you need not to change anything because inexplicable was the right answer.
Just when 4 different fractions are given. Assume that the 4 fractions are like this. Square root of 10 by 2, square root of